Aloha! My name is Jason and I work for PM Music Center in Aurora, Illinois in the Chicagoland area. I wanted to introduce you today to this little four-string wonder, the ukulele, or ukulele if you prefer. Tomato, or you've seen it recently. A lot of people associate the ukulele with Hawaii and the islands, but also it has a rich history. The name ukulele translates roughly, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that a person that would play in the king's court would play and move around, so it's like fleas jumping all over the place. We wanted to introduce you to this instrument, which has really become super popular, is fun, is happy, and you can do so much with it. And the great thing about the ukulele, have any prior music experience to play. And we're going to show you today and give you a brief overview, and also I'll be teaching you a few chords that you can work on your own. Effectively, the ukulele is a stringed instrument, so there is a vibration that occurs. But the sounds and options can vary pretty dramatically. What you'll see in a lot of traditional ukuleles is that they are four-string. The most popular and the one that most people associate with the ukulele is going to be the soprano. Then we have the concert, which is the middle size model. And then we have the tenor, and these ones are a little longer in scale, a little bigger body here. If all things are equal, the larger the instrument, if they're all sort of the same, is going to be a little fuller sounding, just to kind of hear. The instrument that I have in my hand is also a concert. This one is a spruce top, which is something you would find very commonly on guitars. Spruce is a type of wood. This is also a solid one, so it has a beautiful vibration and resonant quality to it. The ukulele, very simply synthesized into parts, is the body, the neck, and the head, or the headstock. When you hold this instrument and play, you're usually going to keep it against your belly or chest, and a lot of times you're really supporting the instrument by cradling the neck right here and holding it kind of like you're holding a ball in your hand. Your forearm is resting somewhere around here, or maybe depending on how you play, it might be kind of loosely suspended. And this is allowing you to keep it on here and keep it fairly stabilized. The neck is usually going to be kept either at a slight angle, or you might keep it a little bit level. What you don't want to do is have it down too far. You want to have it so that it's comfortable, so that you can move your elbow and have nice mobility. There's no real right or wrong way with playing. You could be as tall as Michael Jordan and play on a soprano, or you could be significantly shorter in stature but still playing a concert or a tenor. With tuning, it is a string instrument, so it's something that if you decide that you want to play this, and I really hope that you do have to check the tuning regularly, and you can do that against another instrument like a piano with a cool little digital compact tuner like I have right here. This is mounted right on the headstock and is picking up by vibration. There are other options as well that are smart device based that you can use too, and if you have a really strong ear, of course that's always an option for you too. Either way, it's not very difficult to do that, and if you find someone that has some experience, they're happy to help you tune that. We do that all the time at PM Music Center. As far as playing the instrument is concerned, I personally prefer to play and strum with my fingers or my thumb. Now you can use picks as well. The felt pick is really going to be optimized for the sound of a nylon string, which is what these are. These are nylon strings. Now we're giving you kind of a general overview of the instruments. There are definitely variations that exist out there. There are some wound strings. There are also things like 8-string ukuleles that you might find where you have a set of 4, or 2 sets of 4. When it comes to playing the instrument though, I like to strum with my index finger. So if I was to play, I'd strum down and then come up, so that when it comes up, it goes against the flesh of my finger. Or with my thumb, I might strum down and come back up again too. You'll see this area called the sound hole, and generally a lot of the playing for the ukulele is centered around the sound hole or where the neck meets the body. This is an optimal place to play, although if you play in different areas, right here near where the bridge is, it's called the bridge, it sounds different than if you play here where the neck is. It's a little mellower here, a a little brighter here, and kind of a mix in between. When you are playing the ukulele or a fretted instrument, it's important just to be comfortable and relaxed when you're holding it. When you play with a fretted instrument, these metal bars are the frets, you're going to press down right above the fret that you want to play. So you're kind of in between the two frets on there, not actually touching it. Otherwise, you won't get a clear sound from playing it. And then, because it's a 4-string instrument, and many of the chords play all 4 of them, depending on the chord, you can play all of them and they'll resonate nicely. There are 4 strings on a traditional ukulele. The first string is the one farthest away from you, closest to the ground. And the 4th one is the one that is going to be closest to you. And the tunings for these are G, C, E, A, from here to here. You can play single notes by themselves, or chords where you're playing a few notes at the same time together and strumming. You can let them ring out and sustain, or you can play it and mute it. But a lot of what you're doing that's making a difference in the sound is based on what you're doing with your right hand versus your left hand. Your left hand might play the C major, but my right hand might do this. But C major is going to be played on the very first string. We're going to push down on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. When it comes to strumming it on there, if you're strumming a C major chord, you would play the other strings, the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th open, which means you're not even putting your fingers down. And then you would go ahead and strum all of them together, and you end on that last note, the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Nice and easy. An A minor is to jump all over, and I use my ring finger for the C major, but you can jump all the way to the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and that's an A minor. So we go from the C major to A minor. You're going to just play the 2nd fret, and the other 3, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, are going to be open. A fun little exercise is to seesaw, as I like to call it, back in between them. And you can use your ring finger and your middle finger, or your ring finger and your index finger, and you can just have a nice pattern. We go 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1 and 2 and 3, rest. 1 and 2 and 3, rest. Once you get that time figured out, and the movement and the memory, you can go back and forth between chords, and you can alter what you're doing with your right hand to play. You can also arpeggiate chords where you're playing and plucking fingerstyle or individually. A lot of people like to start with a chord-based approach to ukulele because if you can learn just a couple chords only, you can be playing hundreds and thousands of songs very easily. And there's so many great resources available, printed material, online, but you get a simple little chord book or diagram and you can start working on stuff immediately. In closing, the ukulele, this little 4-string wonder, is something that is so much fun to do. It brings so much joy, and I highly encourage you to try it if you haven't. And if you have already and you haven't played it recently, definitely pick it up. But either way, ook can do it, or is it you can do it? Have fun.